Hi y'all, welcome back to Multimodal. Last week, I got access to GPT-4 Vision, OpenAI's newest addition to the GPT ecosystem, which allows you to talk to ChatGPT with images instead of just using text. And over the past few days, I have been experimenting with it, and in this video, I will be going over some examples. If you find the examples useful, please feel free to like and subscribe. So at the moment of recording this video, this feature is only available to GPT Plus and Enterprise subscribers, but OpenAI says it will be available for others in the future. So if you navigate to the GPT-4 section with the default model, you might have noticed that a new icon appeared at the bottom left corner of the input. And if you hover over it, it'll say attach images. You can attach images by opening the File Explorer, or you can drag and drop or copy from the clipboard directly. So let's start with like a simple image first. Alright, the image got uploaded, and as you can see, this is a very simple example of 3 pretty cats. This should be quite easy for any image recognizing software to identify. Let's see how ChatGPT handles it. You can include a prompt along with the image for any instructions that you want to give to the model. So I would say ChatGPT did a pretty good job with this particular image. It correctly identified the number of kittens in the picture and also the colors of their fur coats. And to take it one step ahead, I like how it identified how the first kitten and the third kitten look similar as well. But again, this is like a fairly simple image for any image recognition software, because it has a clear white background which isolates the foreground quite easily. Alright, now let's try another example. This time I will be using a photo of a landmark. This is the ancient rock fortress in the island of Sri Lanka, which is where I'm from, and I want to highlight the fact that this is actually a screenshot of a real photo. I didn't use the photo that I downloaded from the internet itself because it may contain metadata such as the file name and the location that might give ChatGPT the actual answer. So instead of that, I cropped a screenshot and added it into the prompt box here. Let's see whether it is able to identify the location correctly. And as you can see, it correctly identified what it is and where it is, which I would say is pretty good, but I highly doubt this would work with your neighbor's house. Alright, so this exercise will evaluate GPT's OCR capabilities. OCR stands for Optical Character Recognition, and this is by no means a brand new technology. OCR solutions have been there in the internet for ages, but I want to see how a generalized language model, a generalized multimodal model to be more accurate, handle this particular task. So I have attached a funds request letter that I downloaded from the internet. To make it a little challenging, there's a watermark in the background as well. So what I'm going to ask ChatGPT right now is to extract the text out of this letter, and let's perform a comparison to see whether it does the job correctly. Alright, so I'm going to add the actual letter on the side so we can maybe perform a comparison, and let's see how it did. I would say it has done a pretty good job, has identified things like commas and periods correctly as well, and it didn't get thrown off by the watermark in the background. So I would say, as for basic OCR skills, this is actually pretty good. Now let's make it a little bit more challenging again. This time I will be using this handwritten letter by Mark Twain. As you can see, it is quite challenging even to me because I can't clearly read this letter as well. So I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to try to extract the text as much as possible, and in the end we'll compare it against the original letter to see how it held up. Okay, that took a while. Now let's compare this against the actual letter. Alright, when we compare the two letters side by side, the original and the extracted one, I can clearly say that ChatGPT has failed this task. Yes, it has extracted some of the content correctly, such as the date and words in the middle like 33rd degree here, but the overall extraction is completely meaningless and it has hallucinated a lot of non-existing words into existence just to generate an answer. I like the fact that it says that the interpretation is not 100% accurate, but I wouldn't consider this is a useful output. So this might get better in the future, but I wouldn't say it's particularly useful for extracting handwritten content at the moment. In Mark Twain's words, it has committed an absurd blunder. Moving on to the next one. So in this exercise, I want to test out the data analysis and data transformation capabilities of GPT-4 Vision. GPT has always been good at understanding and manipulating data into different structures, but I want to see whether the image comprehension aids and boosts that already existing capability of ChatGPT. So I will be using this simple pie chart showing the pet ownership across different animal types. The reason I chose this image is the fact that the chart itself doesn't contain the name of the entity that the percentage is associated to. It is indicated by the legend over on the right, which has these small circles indicating the color. I know I explained something quite simple to us humans, but I want to see whether the AI is able to look at these tiny little squares and associate them with the percentages indicated on the chart itself. Let's go ahead and give it a try. I'm gonna test out the data transformation skills here as well. I would be asking ChatGPT to format the extracted data into a table. Let's see whether it's able to handle the combined challenge. Okay, it gave us the output, and let's just cross compare against the table and the chart to see whether they are valid. So dogs are at 55%, cats are at 30%, fish 6, rabbits 5, and rodents 4. So I would say it did like a pretty decent job here, and the color correlation that I wanted to test has been passed. Next, I'm going to get ChatGPT to solve this mathematical expression. So this is a image I cropped from a scanned maths paper. I have to come clean obviously here. I am terrible at math and I have no idea how to solve this problem. All I'm trying to test here is whether GPT is able to extract the question correctly, and I wanted to use something that is akin to a matrix because it is not a single line OCR that it has to do. Let's see how it handles this. Alright, I actually don't know what the hell ChatGPT did here. So if there's any mathematics expert, please let me know in the comments. But it at least extracted the matrix correctly, and I think it attempted to write this LaTeX script, but it didn't get formatted correctly. Obviously, it's showing in this weird red color, and the answer it came up with was number 3. Before we continue to the next exercise, I want to show you guys that I tried to use the advanced data analysis mode, which was formerly known as the code interpreter model, to answer this exact same question, but unfortunately it is not supporting GPT Vision yet. As you can see, it is trying to extract the content of the image using a Python library instead of deriving it on its own, and as a result the extraction isn't correct compared to the original. However, I would be much more confident in the answer that this mode gives if it ever gets the GPT-4 Vision capability. Alright, we have come to the end of the line. In our last video, we talked about using AI agents to interact with GPT models programmatically. Now I'm going to try to do the same with GPT-4 Vision. But unfortunately, at the time of recording this video, GPT-4 Vision is not available via the OpenAI API. So instead, what I'm going to do is use all the skills I covered in this video so far and get GPT plus GPT-4 Vision to produce a response out of an image that can be consumed within code. Now I want GPT to analyze this particular image, which is a receipt of the chair that I'm sitting on at the moment. I want GPT to extract the important content out of this image and format it into this particular JSON response right here. This will sort of simulate a response that can be consumed by code quite easily. Let's see how GPT handles this particular task. Now let's compare against the original image and see whether the data that was extracted is accurate. Alright, I copied the extracted data into a separate window for an easier comparison, and this is definitely my favorite example, probably why I saved it for last. You can see how accurately GPT was able to map the data I requested into this JSON format. And keep in mind, I didn't have to train this or provide multiple different schemas for this particular purpose. All I gave it was a rudimentary JSON schema, and it was able to isolate all the information I wanted out of it. The only thing it got wrong was this currency field, which still showed up as $sign instead of AUD, which is what I expected to. But I feel like if I specified that with a comment in the schema, it would have gotten even that right. So this is pretty impressive. Let me explain why I think it is quite impressive. OCR is definitely not a brand new technology. If you look at the market, you will find plenty of possible OCR technologies that you can use for your projects, and people have been using them for quite some time now. But most of these OCR solutions are specified to a particular domain, meaning you will find OCR models specialized for receipts, to bills and whatnot. But what we just did here was use a generalized AI model to achieve the same thing. It was able to intuitively understand this because GPT-4 Vision is backed up by the standard GPT-4 large language model. So you can see how both of these are working together to produce the result that I want with minimal instructions. And I really think as this solution gets more and more advanced, we are definitely going to see a revolution in the OCR space. Alright, that brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the examples that I gave. Please let me know in the comments if you want to cover any specific AI technology that you guys are interested in. I'm always keen to do more videos because I'm interested in this space and how it is going. So yeah, until next time.